Hello IT. This video is going to cover how to install the full suite driver queues for the PaperCut system. So moving forward, this is how to install the queues on non-domain devices. If the device has been added to the KW Memorial domain, it will be added automatically through group policy. So obviously you don't have to worry about that. So once you're on the person's computer, you'll want to go ahead and use your little batch file, the production queues batch file. If you don't have it, it's on the server under staff drive under IT. Most likely it will be underneath a PapercutFullSuiteMultipleQueues folder or some variant thereof. Go ahead and copy that over to your flash drive and bring it to the end user's computer. So before I do that, there's actually 3 different ways to add the queues. You can use the batch file, or you can go into devices and printers, add a printer, and it'll show up automatically here. You'll know it's the right queue and it's all one word. So if you notice, we have some of the queues do repeat. Like for instance, Memorial Upstairs queue and Memorial Expansion Copier. They're essentially the same thing, but one of them is not the correct one. We're actually going to get rid of it. But anyways. The best way to do this is doing the production queues, the batch file. What you want to do is you'll drop on the desktop and then right click and hit Run as Administrator. Odds are it doesn't need the Run as Administrator part, but it never hurts to give that credential to it. So when it first opens, it's going to ask you for their username, which will always be KW/first initial last name. Now more often than not, it actually will fail at this step. And what's going to happen is it'll fail, tell you it's the wrong thing, and then just ask you again. Just enter in the exact same thing, and then it's going to ask you for the password, which, unless they've specifically requested a different password, it's going to be the last 4 of their social. So once it accepts it, it'll actually start installing the queues, and you'll know they're done when either the batch file says press any key to continue, or these 3 windows here pop up. Each one of these windows is a different queue, and it just lets you know that they're installed, and it even shows you what's in the queue if there's something in there. So once it's finished, just go back to the batch file and hit press any key to continue. It closes all the queues out for you. You don't have to worry about it. So once you've done that, go to Control Panel, All Devices and Printers, and open it up, and you'll see these 3 devices that have been added to the unit. You can verify that the right one has been installed by just right-clicking on it and hitting Printing Preferences. If this window here pops up, or this kind of window, then you know you've done it properly. Because these are the full suite driver windows. These give you all the options for stapling, for hole punching, collating, the whole shebang. If you right-click on it and hit Preferences, and this window comes up, this is the Mobility Print window. It's a very basic driver. It's designed to work on all platforms and devices, and it only ever gives you 2 features, and that is, single-sided or double-sided, or black and white, or color. They can't choose their trays. They can't choose any paper size that isn't 8.5 by 11 or 8.5 by 14. Sometimes 11 by 17 does work if it's loaded in the printer and the printer knows it's loaded in there. So the bypass tray, for instance, won't work. It'll never work. It'll just complain and yell at you, and nothing ever comes out. So if the batch file for whatever reason doesn't work, or you can't get your hands on it, just go to Control Panel, Devices and Printers. Go ahead and remove these real quick. So this is typically what you're going to see. This is go to Add a Printer, and the printer should show up automatically. It's the one that's all one word. So Memorial Downstairs queue, Memorial Upstairs queue, and Energy Corridor queue. You just hit Next. It's going to ask for their password, for their username and password, and again it's KW/first initial last name, and the last 4 of their social. So let's say for whatever reason these aren't showing up. It's fine, not a big deal. Just hit here, the printer wasn't listed. Go down here, just like to share. And you can either type in KWM SRV VM 1, and hit enter. And typically nothing's going to pop up like this. I'm on a domain device, and so obviously I'm authenticated to the server. But if you know the queue off the top of your head, if you know the name, so for instance, MD corridor queue, you hit enter, what's going to happen is, again, it worked for me because I'm on a domain device, but for the non-domain users, what's going to happen is when you hit enter, it will ask for your username and password again. So you just type it in. Alright, and if it doesn't show up, so for instance, if you don't remember the queue name, not a big deal. You can just go ahead and hit browse, and 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to see it. So just type in KDBM SRV VM01. Now when you hit enter, it's going to ask you for credentials. So just type them in, and if it's correct, you'll see this. Now if it's not correct, it will kick you out. It'll just complain and say, hey, this isn't the right stuff. However, sometimes it does take the incorrect credentials. So what you want to do in that instance is go to Control Panel, and you want to look for Credential Manager. And then what you're looking for is you'll have 2 options, either web credentials or Windows. You want to go on Windows, and you'll see the server credentials right here. It'll say KDBM SRV VM01. So set this little drop down arrow here and hit remove. Once you remove the credentials, you have to restart the computer. Otherwise, it'll just cache them and use them again, so it'll just keep failing. And that's it.